read violin sheet music. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Megan. I'm a violinist and teacher currently based in New Jersey. I've been playing the violin for over 20 years. I have my bachelor's and master's degrees in violin performance, and I'm a Suzuki trained teacher. If you're enjoying my videos, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. And if you're looking for more support and guidance along your violin journey, you can check out the description for a private lesson application to work with me privately, or the waitlist for my flexible, supportive, affordable learning program, Learn Violin Online. The next round of open enrollments will be opening up in March. Reading music is an important skill, and I honestly do not know of any professional violinists who have gotten to where they are without knowing how to read music. Yes, being able to learn and play by ear is extremely valuable as well, but if you ever want to play in an orchestra or play professionally, play gigs, you need to be familiar with how to read sheet music. I will give you all of the basics in this video, but really what you need to do is practice. So once you understand the concepts and the basic things that I will introduce to you in this video, find easy sheet music that you can read and practice to help hone your skills. Reading music is honestly like learning a different language, and as someone who is in the process of trying to learn how to speak Chinese, I know it's extremely difficult. And honestly, even when I was a kid, I had major trouble learning how to read music. I was a Suzuki kid, so I learned everything by ear. My ear was really great. I didn't feel a need to read sheet music, which is honestly something I'm struggling with a couple of my students right now. And it took me several years to be able to read it fluently. So it's a process. All right, first thing that you need to know is that this is a treble clef. Violins always read in treble clefs. You will only see treble clefs at the beginning of your sheet music. Cellos read in bass clef, and violas read in alto clef. So if you see sheet music in either one of these clefs, that was not meant for you. As a violinist, you probably shouldn't play it. Well, you could play it, but it's just not meant for you. After the treble clef, the next thing that you'll see is called the key signature. The key signature could either be blank, it could be nothing, or it could be a series of sharps or a series of flats. The key signature tells you what notes you need to play throughout the piece. So if you don't see anything, that's the key of either C major or A minor, and you play all of the notes natural. If you were to see this key, for instance, that is one sharp, F sharp. So every time you see an F in that piece, you would play it sharp. If you were to see this key signature, that is one flat, B flat, anytime you would see a B, you would play it flat. A really good reference for key signatures is the circle of fifths. As you can see here, it shows you the key signature and what keys are associated with that key signature. There's always two keys per key signature, a major key and a minor key. If you're trying to decide between the two, look at the very last note of the piece. This doesn't work 100% of the time, but it works a lot of the time, especially for us violinists. So if you're trying to decide between C major or A minor, and you see the last note is C, you're most likely in C major. After the key signature comes the time signature, which looks like two numbers on top of one another. The top number tells you how many beats there are per measure. And the measures in music are separated by bar lines. So if it's a 4, there's 4 beats in the measure. If it's a 3, there's 3 beats in the measure. If it's an 8, there's 8 beats in the measure, and so on. The bottom number of the time signature tells you what kind of note gets the beat. So the two most common are 4 and 8. A 4 tells you that the quarter note gets the beat, and an 8 tells you that the 8th note gets the beat. So for example, if your time signature was 4/4, there would be 4 quarter notes per measure. Now, this does not mean every single note has to be a quarter note. They just have to add up to 4 quarter notes per measure. Similarly, if your time signature was 6/8, then there would be 6/8 notes in the measure, or whatever adds up to 6/8 notes. Now, when it comes to reading the note, there are two aspects of it. There's the pitch, which is the note name, and then the rhythm, which is how long you hold the note. So here is a list of all of the pitches in treble clef. You can remember the line notes by the phrase, "Every good boy deserves fudge." So from bottom to top, it's E, G, B, D, F. And for the space notes, you can remember them by the word face. So from bottom to top, it's F-A-C-E. Now for us violinists, I suggest first identifying where your open strings are. So open G, open D, open A, and open E. That way, you know at least what string to play on. If you see the note is higher than open D but lower than open A, you know that you need to play that on the D string. Now when it comes to reading the pitches of notes, it's really just all about memorizing. If you like, it's probably a really good idea to get like flashcards or even make your own flashcards so that when you see a note, you can very quickly identify it. However, I understand that committing things to memory takes time, and when you're in a pinch, the best thing that you can do is read the contour or the shape of the line. So for example, if I started on A and my next note was the next space up, that's a skip. So I know that I would skip B and go to C. So reading the distance between the notes, reading the shape of the line is going to help you read faster. Also, I know for me personally and a lot of my students, knowing how to play the note comes before knowing the name of the note. So for example, you might know, oh, that's 2 on A, but you might have to think about the note name to come up with C or C sharp. And that's totally normal at first. The other aspect of note reading is the rhythm or how long to hold the notes. So we'll start out with a whole note, which gets 4 beats. A half note gets 2 beats. A quarter note gets 1 beat. 2 eighth notes equal 1 quarter note, so each eighth note gets half a beat. 16th notes get a quarter of a beat each, so 4 16th notes equals 1 quarter note. Now you might be thinking, Megan, what's a beat? And I know it's a very abstract concept and something that I had a lot of trouble with when I was a kid, but you can think of a beat as a clap. So this right now is my beat. If I were to sing quarter notes, I would sing with every beat because they get 1, bum, bum, bum. If I were to sing half notes, they would last for 2, bum, bum. If I were to sing eighth notes, I would put 2 in every beat, bum, 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 and so on. Sometimes you may encounter notes with dots next to them. When you see a dot next to a note, it means that you add half of that note's value to the note. So for example, if I saw a half note with a dot next to it, a half note gets 2 beats, half of 2 is 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3. How many beats would a dotted quarter note get? That's right, 1.5. Violinists also have bowing markings. So this is a down bow, and to play a down bow, you move your hand down towards the ground. And this is an up bow. To play an up bow, you move your hand up towards the ceiling. You also might come across notes that are slurred, and that means to play all of the notes underneath the slur in the same bow direction. You also may encounter dots over or under the notes, which are different than dots beside the notes. So dots over or under the notes mean to play them staccato or short. So if they were all separate bows, then you would just play them something like this, where you have a little bit of space between each note. But if they were under a slur, then you would play them like this, where they still have a little bit of space between each note, but your bow is going all in the same direction. You also will most likely come across dynamic markings in your music. Dynamic markings just indicate the volume at which you play. You may see the letter F, which stands for forte, which means loud, MF, which stands for mezzo forte, or a medium loud, MP, which is mezzo piano, or medium soft, or P, which means soft. We also have crescendos, which means to get louder, and decrescendos, which means to get softer. You also sometimes might see one of these above or below your notes. These are accents, and they mean to play the notes louder than those around them. At the end of the piece, you will usually see a double bar line indicating that the piece is finished. You may also see repeat signs, which tell you to repeat that section. You may also come across first and second endings. So that means you play from the beginning of the section through the first ending, you repeat it, and you skip the first ending and play the second ending. Additionally, many pieces also tell you the speed at which to play. So this is a list of some common tempo markings and what they mean. So that was your crash course on violin music notation and how to read sheet music. If you're interested in going more in depth on this topic, I have a complete course dedicated to it called The Basics of Note Reading. In this course, each lesson consists of 2 parts, pitch and rhythm. The topics are introduced through a video lecture, they are practiced through self-paced exercises, and then you check your work with an answer key. Additionally, I also have test your learning pieces included along the way, which puts your skills into practice. I'll leave that link in the description if you're interested, and that course is included in your membership to Learn Violin Online. What questions do you have about note reading? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you subscribe before you go.